Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to be introducing a new series of videos kind of basically related to Path of Exile, where it's kind of just me giving my own personal opinion and insight, stuff that's related to in-game and out of the game itself of Path of Exile. So I hope you enjoy, and with that being said, let's continue. So I kind of just want to give a little backstory on why I love Path of Exile so much and I'm passionate for it. Real quick, I started playing video games at the age of 3. I watched my dad play video games. As I got older, I played Diablo 1, Diablo 2. I was never good at them, but I loved them. Let's skip a chunk of years, and Diablo 3 comes out. I played Diablo 3. It's okay. It's whatever. I actually enjoyed the story. To be completely honest, I actually did enjoy the story. When Reaper of Souls came out, I remember I got off of school, or I left school, called my buddy, was like, yo, hop on, we're going to play the new campaign or the DLC, and we enjoyed it. If it wasn't for me being in a clan in Diablo 3, I would never have played the game as much as I did, to be honest. I played the game for like a year solid, give or take a couple months. If it wasn't for that clan, I would have never, I would have dropped it a long time ago, needless to say. So I was introduced to Path of Exile in 2014, and I kind of had this itch that I couldn't scratch, right? And how I discovered Path of Exile was I went on YouTube and I typed in games similar to Diablo, right? Simple as that. Torchlight came up, Grim Dawn came up. Grim Dawn, I tried it. Well, actually, I lied. I didn't try it initially. I tried it after I tried Path of Exile, but it's a solo experience and I like interaction. And plus there was a price point. This was before I even had my first job. So I didn't have the money for Grim Dawn. Same with Torchlight. Path of Exile was free. Boom. All right, so I was already attracted. Now, when I played the game initially, mind you, there's like, it's been 1 year that the game's been out. There's content for it on YouTube, but there's really not that much. Obviously, in 2020, we've had 7 years of content that has been released on YouTube and, you know, third-party tools to kind of help you play the game and just, you know, add a whole bunch of quality of life. Back in 2014, from my understanding, there was little to none of that, okay? And mind you, I'm coming from Halo and Call of Duty primarily, along with, you know, Battlefield and some other games. But those are the games I primarily played every year. A new Call of Duty, new Call of Duty, new Call of Duty. I was not used to a game beating my ass. I was not used to some NPC. Now, if I played Dark Souls, that'd be different. If I was accustomed to that type of play style, that'd be different. I was not used to what Path of Exile was about to do to me, right? Like, I literally felt used and abused after I completed normal difficulty for the first time. And this is back when there was only 3 acts, right? You had normal, cruel, and merciless. I got my ass handed to me. And that's originally the beginning of, like, why I didn't like the game at first. But then that curiosity of just like, okay, I'm competitive. How do I get better? What do I have to research? What do I have to look up to get better, right? And this is when I was like new to builds and everything. Like, remind you, I played Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, but I was so young. I wasn't going on forum posts to look at builds. I wasn't going on YouTube to look at, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was none of that. I literally played the game how I wanted to play it, and if I got shitted on 30 times by Act 1 boss, so be it. I had fun. So as time went on, that itch was still there for a hack and slash title that I could sink my time into. So I did research, and as time went on, I complete normal, then cruel, then merciless. But it didn't just stop there. You know, you would think, well, okay, you beat it 3 times. Why make a new character when it's the same story over and over and over? Well, this was also, I believe, right around the time when GGG kind of created a roadmap, right? Like an actual thoughtful roadmap where every X amount of months they would release new content. So at least I believe this is around that time period. I think I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I remember at one point every expansion, every free DLC that they released, there was something that grabbed my attention, right? There was something that drew me back in. Even if I played the game for 2 months and then took a month off, there was always that feeling of a new concept to explore and kind of master. And that's what kept, drawing me back in. And the reason why I like GGG so much is because they're extremely passionate. Not only are they influenced by old titles like Titan Quest and Diablo, their passion for ARPGs is what they live for, right? Of course, you're going to have the people that sit there. By the way, we're in the Heist League of the making of this video, as you can tell by the title. Grand Heist are still broken. Now, it's just over a week that the content's been out, slightly over a week, and the Grand Heists are still broken. And real quick, I just want to say, for people, if you're that type of person that goes on the forum post, whether it's an MTX update or whatever, and you just shit post, fix the game, it's not fun for anyone, you're approaching the situation completely wrong. First off, submit a ticket. If you have proof of the bug or whatever, submit it. They do look at them, right? Obviously, they care about their game. This is GGG's only game, so what else do they have time to focus on? Literally nothing but the game itself, right? So, and you also have to understand, a lot of people that complain about stuff usually is something that a lot of people just aren't experienced with. Like, a lot of the player base, I can guarantee you a whole bunch of money that the majority of the player base of Path of Exile aren't developers. I can just say it now. Some of them might have an idea of how developing works and how like coders and all that and how like game studios function, but a lot of them just have no idea on what the steps are necessary to take to fix something that could be so crucial to making the league fun, right? If the new content that you release keeps crashing, that's not good, right? You will have a bunch of people, and rightfully so, people that are mad at you. Now, here's the thing. It could be a big issue that GGG notices right off the bat that could take a week for them to fix, or it can be a real simple flaw that's crashing the client, but it can take a week for them to find, right? So with that being said, GGG is extremely passionate. They never fail to surprise me when it comes to new implementations, new ideas for league mechanics. When they showcased Path of Exile 2, I was mind blown. I literally sat there and watched every single stand for an hour on YouTube, and I think I watched like 4 hours literally in bed after waking up one morning. That's how passionate I was. I felt so involved because like this is a game that I love already, and now boom, Path of Exile 2 drops their first XCon. Awesome. Their passion for ARPGs, their vision, their goal, they want Path of Exile to be around for a long time, and my god, I'm here for the fucking ride. So yeah, that's pretty much a little bit of backstory. And they do listen to the community, and they really try to be as helpful as possible. But with that being said, let's continue on with the next topic. So kind of to piggyback a little bit of what I mentioned about like the people shit posting a lot, how to properly address issues of Path of Exile, you have to say it on the correct form, right? So for example, right here, we're at the forum page. You have a bunch of stuff: news, help, feedback, discussion. This is what you guys should be clicking on. As you can tell, it's got 111,000 posts. Right under that is feedback and suggestions. This is the page that you would want to, if you're going to shitpost, at least shitpost here, right? But at the end of the day, shitposting does nothing. Like, you want proof, you want an actual, like, it doesn't even have to be like a thesis statement. It doesn't have to be like, you know, professionally structured, but, you know, be straight to the point, clear, and understanding. Like, calling developers names and just saying how bad the game is and fixing your game literally does nothing for anyone, right? People don't want to read it, whether they're a player or a worker. So if you come here, right, the MTX page, which by the way, they're pretty cool. This guy, someone pointed out that they have 0 heist challenges. Celestial skill, these look nice, but fix the league so we can all enjoy the game. This is not the place to talk about how bad the game is or whatever. Like, yeah, you can tie the similarity of like, okay, well, you guys come out with these great MTX, but what's the point of buying the MTX if the game's non-playable, right? Whatever. Which, first off, the game is definitely playable. I'm enjoying every second. My guild, who is like 10 plus active members all the time for the most part, we're all enjoying the game. Make sure you at least voice your opinion on the appropriate forum page. So the next thing really is leveling is not so bad, okay? I know there's a lot of people that don't like the leveling process. They think it's tedious, they think it's annoying, yada 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 and so forth. Usually a lot of people that give up on the game before they even reach to maps are the people that don't know what they're looking for. Either they're not following a build, or they're following a bad build, or they die once or twice to some BS and then they get mad, they throw a fit and give up, or they just have a lack of game knowledge, really. Now, I made a video previous where I talked about how I make a lot of characters in the very beginning of the league. Every league, I always usually make like 2 to 4 characters. And the reason for that is because I don't mind the leveling experience. I really don't. I get more enjoyment out of seeing the progression of the build, going from level 1 to 20 to 40 to, and I see the power progression. And it's really satisfying when I either craft that one item that I need, or I go and just upgrade one thing or gem swap, and now I'm doing a lot more damage, or I'm able to, squeeze in an extra support gem that I wasn't able to before because I just recently found a drop with the right sockets, the right links. Looking for what you need to progress. I could approach the leveling process like, okay, another character, 10x, here we go, nothing's new. I, again, look at more of like the power creep. Look what I'm able to do compared to what I was able to do 10 levels ago. Look at the gear. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on at once. Now, everyone, of course, we all want to get to maps. We always want to get to maps. We all want to get to endgame content. There's so much we got to do. The acts are just a crutch, right? It just slows us down. No, not at all. And understanding how the game works, utilizing certain like craft recipes, like vendor recipes, I can guarantee you there's a lot of people that have damage issues with melee builds, but they don't understand that all you need is a blue or yellow rustic belt with a blacksmith whetstone and a white melee weapon. And that right there is a vendor recipe for an item to have X% increased physical damage. That right there helps. So just that simple recipe can carry you to the next act or 2 or 3 if you get good rolls on it. So that's pretty impressive. Now, no one says, oh yeah, dude, I hate the leveling process so much, I finish all the acts in like 4 hours, right? Like, I just hate. Now, you could say, I don't like leveling, so I min-maxed how to level as fast as possible. That's different. Getting stronger and leveling up and getting one act closer to maps, I find that enjoyable. Now, if I was stuck on Act 6 or I was stuck on Katava where I die 30 times, well, yeah, I'm not going to be happy at all. I'm going to be frustrated and I'm going to be wasting time. I think just game knowledge, following a build that holds your hand. Like, if you're really new, finding a pretty well thought out written build helps. Like, if you have path of building and then on the bottom of the skill tree, or like act breakdowns, like what you should have every act, like basically little goals, like, okay, act 1 have this skill, act 2 pick up this skill, act 3 combine these skills. Like, if you have a guild if you follow a build like that, it should be a little more smooth. Now, also on the flip side, I can understand at the end of the day if it's repetitive as hell. Like, yeah, I can make 3-4 characters in a week, but do I want to make 3-4 more characters on week 2 and then week 3 and week 4? No, not at all. But I kind of get that out of my system in the first week. I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not a racer. I'm not someone that finds enjoyment trying to min-max the leveling process. I mean, it can take me anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours to get to maps, depending on how the build is and if I have stuff pop up in between my playtime. But, with that being said, like, I don't know. I at the end of the day, I think it's really just game knowledge, understanding what you're looking for the build. That's another thing too. If you don't understand the build that you're playing, or you don't understand what to look for, that might be an issue. That just might be a underlining issue. Now, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get that off my chest just a little bit. Leveling really isn't that bad, and that's why you should try to spend some time finding a build that suits you. Another thing that's huge in Path of Exile that I feel like some people really just have a hard time grasping or just realizing, there's more content than just maps, right? Like, there's more content than just white, yellow, and red maps. There's more content than just doing your conquerors and getting your watchstones. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a big part of the game. Like, you're gonna have to run maps regardless, right? But delving, I mean, there's literally people that spend a whole bunch of time delving. Imagine that. Imagine making a character with the sole purpose of strictly delving. I think it was the end of last league and someone hit like 15,900. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I'm never going to hit that. Delving is important only for the crafts, in my opinion. Now, you can go BDE, you can figure that one out yourself. Try to hit 1300 plus so you can get those fractured fossils. They're like minimum 2x. 2.5x a drop, and they're guaranteed. So if you want to start making some serious cash, well, maybe delving is the way for you. But you have the Syndicate, you got Beast Mastery, try to farm Metamorphs if you want, Blight Maps, Syndicate, or did I already say Syndicate? I can't remember. It's not just map and map and map and map. And you can juice the maps up. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but there's just more to it. You can even do trials. Now, I know it's not the most fun thing to do in this entire world. Usually, leveling is also sometimes compared to doing Trials of Ascendancy, but thankfully with the Trials of Ascendancy, you do them once for the character, you're done. Or I should say, you unlock the trials to run them, but once you unlock the trials, they're one and done, right? So that is a plus. I mean, you have people that bank Exalts every league off of just doing Trials of Ascendancy, right? Going for the crafts. So, you know, there's a lot of content to do. Hell, you can even do master missions. It's hard to complain about having nothing to do because, like I talked about in the last video I posted, you know, I look at Path of Exile as every league. I consider it like a map. I blindfold myself, I throw a dart, and wherever that dart lands, mentally, I want to focus on that part, that content, that specific content, for X amount of days, right? Or to like just refresh myself. I don't fully know Syndicate, and that is something I want to do come this league, or like, you know, as the league progresses. That is something I want to accomplish, right? Doing the Vow Temple, you know what I mean? That's a lot of content right there too. There's just so much to do. I don't see how someone could have such a hard time finding something to do. So, quick tip. White maps, you transmute. Yellows, you alch. Reds, you alch and corrupt, right? The color of the map basically indicates the like what you have to do for the Atlas bonuses. But with that being said, literally just crafting harder content. So let's take this iceberg map, for example, right? So let's say we, oh wow, I'm actually out of, oh, and I got one alch left. That's bad. So boom. That's the first step. Alch it. Players cannot regenerate life or whatever. Okay, I can't run that. Well, I can with this character, but let's say you can, right? So you smack it. They reflect physical damage. Then the next thing we do is vowel it if we want. But we could take it one step further. Is you would take a sextant and then drop it right onto a watchstone, right? So for example, what is this? Glench. So I'll just take one. And just for shits and giggles, boom, right? Area contains 4 additional packs of monsters that convert when killed. 3 uses remaining, right? So, boom, you just juiced it a little more. So now, which I'm assuming people do, obviously, you pick a master. Now, Zana is kind of proven to be one of the more lucrative masters to kind of run. Now, I've been doing a bad job because I've been doing a bunch of other stuff. You want these numbers to be as low as possible, right? Now, obviously, if you're doing reds, you're not going to focus on whites, probably even rarely yellows, but you want to make sure red is 0 in every single master selection. You want to make sure that you're depleted all the time on the red. That means you're constantly beefing up your content. You're not just doing maps, you're adding a little flavor to them. And also, if you want, you could add prophecies. You can even do, you know, delirium orbs. You can add, where is it? Boom, 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 boom. What is it for? You know, you can even do scarabs. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. Hell, you can even collect fragments and open up portals to other content of the game. You know, it goes on and on. Obviously, there's some stuff that I'm missing, but just to tie in with the last segment, there's more content than just maps. But if you just want to use maps, then you might as well utilize all the currency that you can to beef those maps up if your character can run them, just so you can even min-max even more outcome, right? Put more currency in, to increase the outcome of getting more currency out. And I just wanted to spend a quick minute explaining that. The last segment I want to talk about before I kind of wrap up the videos with my opinion on issues with the game, because yes, as much as I love the game and as passionate as I am for it, there is obviously some things that do bug me and piss me off from time to time. But MTX Breakdown. Now, first off, I just want to say a lot of MTXs I love. I have, what is it? N, I think. You know, I have a little bit of selection. I got some armor attachments. I got, you know, armor skins. I got some sets. You know, I got some effects, footprints, glove skins, helmet attachments, helmet skins, pets, portals, skill gem effects, and yeah, the frames, blood effect, and weapon effects, and weapon skins. Now, obviously, I like a lot of the MTXs in this game. Probably spend a little bit more than I should, but with that being, this is a judge-free zone. Let me just clarify that. But no, seriously, the prices are pretty jaw-dropping at times, right? So if we look at the store real fast, can the camera? No, the camera's on the way. So I want to talk about, it's not MTX, but stash tabs. Now, people that are new to the game, right? They don't want to invest money into the game. There's someone in the guild, they've been playing for about a league and a half now, and they're about 90, and they've never bought a stash tab. Now, I want to say props to them, kudos, because no, I could not do that. I need efficiency. I need organization. Like literally, I would go crazy if I had a stash tab with wisdom scrolls, maps, fragments, essences, like all that stuff in like a few stash tabs. No. That's not gonna happen. And me organizing all of that, no, sorry, chief, ain't happening. Especially with all the currency, no. So stash tabs, they aren't a pay to win, but they're a pay for quality of life. They're a pay for convenience, so to speak, right? But if we look at armor, right, you're going to see some pretty expensive ass purchases, right? $420. I think $5 for 50 points. Yeah, so that's about $40 for an armor set. $40. Let's keep going. $40 here. $80 here. $80. Again, if I'm doing the math correctly, it's around 80, 70 plus. Yeah, 50 points for $5. So you get the idea. Every 100 points is $10. That's $80, right? $50 just for the chess piece. Now, again, this is pretty daunting, right? I mean, back attachments, like everything is overpriced, like $32 for Void Emperor wings. I'd buy them, but that's not the point that's not the point I'm trying to make. I understand why some of this stuff is so expensive. The game is free. The DLC is free. They are working on Path of Exile 2, which is going to be given to us for free. There is no monthly subscription. There is no box cost. You literally can beat the game, whatever your terms of beating the game is, because there's a lot of stuff to beat. You can beat the game and spend zero money into the game. Literally. No stash tabs, no MTX, nothing. Literally nothing. Now, your character's going to kind of look, you know, not like a regular character. With I know that's weird saying, but you know, your character's gonna look like dog shit for the most part without MTX and without spending some type of money, which is fine, because on the flip side to all of this, these are cosmetics only. I understand you're sitting there and you're like, dude, I worked my ass off for a whole week grinding. I got, you know, Combs Heart, and I put it on. It looks cool, but these MTXs that someone can pay money for looks better than what I grinded for. That's true, and I feel bad that you feel like that. But at the same time, I'd be more happy for the stats, because I don't expect the game to offer all of this stuff that I can just find in-game. Like, seriously, I don't expect the game to drop all this stuff, and then, but it's like, what do? Transmogs? Transmogs aren't bad. You know, they're good at, like, the way Diablo 3 executed the idea. Not bad. Pretty, actually kind of a good idea. There's also a flip to that. Diablo also charges a box price to play the game, and they also charge for DLCs. Path of Exile doesn't do that, right? So you have to have a compromise somewhere. Are they expensive for just a little bit of pixels on the screen? 110%. But at the same time, you know, that's my way of supporting the game. If I don't want to buy a supporter pack, that's fine, right? A little bit, $5, $10 here and there, I don't mind. It's not going to kill me. You know, I mean, if buying MTX to you is like a week of not eating or half the rations, well then yeah, I probably wouldn't be buying MTX, right? There's other things in real life that I should be spending my money on. But if you have a little bit of pocket change, you know, you got people that go to the bar every weekend. You know, they spend $100, $50, $60, $70 on their friends, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, you know, whatever, party. Or you got people that go shopping every weekend. They go to the mall, new underwear, new shirts, jeans, belts, cologne, jewelry. I don't do much of that stuff. Like, yeah, I go to the bar. Yeah, I go shopping every now and then. But what do I spend most of my time doing? Gaming, right? So if I'm spending the majority of my life, my free time, playing a game that I'm passionate about, well, yeah, that's how I'm going to treat myself. By looking, if I stare at pixels all day, it only makes sense for me to spend a little bit of money to get new pixels. I mean, I'm just being honest. So, you know, you can't say it's a waste of money because value is different for everyone, right? I could say putting rims on your car. I like rims, by the way. But what I'm trying to say is you putting $1,000 rims on your car, I could sit there and say, well, that's a waste of money. Oh, they're just going to get scratched and dented and cost a lot of maintenance, you know? What happens if something happens to the tire? What if I get into an accident? What if something happens or blah, 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 or whatever, or a brand new paint job? Ex-girlfriend comes, keys my car, whether I deserve it or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could say it's a waste of money, but you can sit there and say, well, dude, I love my cars. I'm a mechanic or I'm a car enthusiast. I go to car show. Well, clearly it's not a waste of money then. If that's what you take pride in, that's what you take pride in. So when people say, oh, it's a waste of money. No. Now, if you were to say, like, the prices are a little jacked up, well, yeah, I'm going to agree with that. But at the same time, like, even Chris said it himself, you know, supporter packs and MTX is, like, literally how they stay in business. That's the only way that they stay in business is by purchases like this. So at the same time, I can understand why the prices are up where they're at, and that's why they're so passionate about the game, because they want it to succeed. They want it to be around for years to come, right? So cool MTXs, yeah, that's fine with me. That's literally fine. I want this game to strive. I want this game to succeed. I want this game to be around. You know, I want something where I can look back and be like, damn, look at all the support that I've given to this amazing company, right? Yeah, there's bugs, there's this, but what fucking game doesn't have errors? What game? I mean, dude, look at World of Warcraft. Look at that dog shit game, right? All the shit that they, you know, they implement an idea for, you know, what is it, essences or covenants and stuff. Like every new DLC, every new league, they implement something, and then by next league, it's obsolete, right? So every game doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. When you talk about an MMORPG or an ARPG, it's never going to be perfectly balanced. And quite frankly, I don't want it to be perfectly balanced. I really don't. I want that build that costs dumb amount of currency so I can cheese the content. I want that build where I can spend a little bit of currency, but I could play more defensively or this, that, and the third. So it's just, that's my opinion on it, honestly. And just to wrap up everything, I want to talk about some valid issues, right? Disconnect, desync, on death effects, some reskinned MTX that I feel that it doesn't justify the price tag, right? So like disconnecting, obviously. Now I'm not a genius. I don't know anything about netcode. I don't really know, like I know there's server side, client side, all that stuff. When it comes to disconnecting, I mean, I might not be able to justify disconnecting. Maybe it's your internet browser or maybe it's your internet provider. I don't know. But when it comes to desyncing, all I can say is it's frustrating. And when it comes to all the projectiles, everything that's happening on screen, everything has a calculation, right? You cast one thing. When you add GMP, greater multiple projectiles, you're adding a whole bunch of calculations, a whole bunch of stuff that the server and the client have to match up on, right? Obviously, it's going to be easier to shoot one projectile that hits one enemy that applies fire damage versus you shooting a projectile that shoots 6 projectiles that break off into 20 projectiles that deal chaos or physical to lightning, chaos, and fire damage, and then you're dropping curses and then you're popping mechanics, you're popping content which spawn more monsters that have more effects. You have it's literally, if you were to look at all the stuff that happens, the spreadsheet of all the combinations and the equations and everything that's going on, mind you, all this stuff can happen in the split of a second. One frame, literally one frame, has to calculate all that stuff. You press one button and a million things can happen. So desyncing, as much as we hate it, I mean, it's pretty damn hard to fix and almost may be impossible to fix. On death mechanics, I hate them. I can understand in some, they're justifiable in some situations, but overall, I don't like them. They are annoying, and they can rip your character even when you weren't paying attention, or even when you think you shouldn't have ripped, but you do. And the last thing I just want to say is the reskinned MTX. I'm not a fan of them. And what I mean by reskinned, you take a previous idea and then put another look on top of the previous layout. You're just reskinning the same thing, right? It's like having a house with 2 windows that's blue and then introducing a new house with 2 windows but it's red. You know what I mean? I feel like the prices should be lowered just a little bit. I'm not gonna say they should say reskinned, but slightly less, whatever. But that's just my personal opinion. If they stay the same, oh well. At the end of the day, it is reskinned, it is different, a different theme. It is what it is. Those are just some of the valid issues that I have, other than bugs and stuff that isn't intentionally there that can ruin your experience for the league content. I mean, those are just stuff that has to get patched. But when you're talking disconnects and desyncs and stuff like that, I mean, there's really not much that you can genuinely do. What is there that you can, as a human being, do, right? So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm Rare6. I hope you learned or understood some of the things I said in this video, and I will see you in the next video.